I can't believe I'm gonna be a doctor. Y'all, literally the week after I got my acceptance from the school I'm going to, I put in my resignation at my job. I was like, I will be out mid-June, because the number one piece of advice that I've heard from medical students or even like physicians, etc., they're like, girl, you need like a month off before you start medical school just to have like zero thoughts, head empty. I was like, bet, because I honestly, for the most part, I love my job, but with applying to medical school and everything, I've had some burnout up and down since this year. I didn't have the feminine urge to apply curling cream to my hair. I don't know. Well, my hair's already dry, so I probably shouldn't, but this is just like natural fro. Anyways, we're gonna go in with the e.l.f. Camo Corrector. We love her. And then the Tarte Shape Tape. We don't love her, but I'm gonna use my travel size that I spent $15 on. This past year has been such a roller coaster, from taking the MCAT like twice, I think, in the past year, to crashing out during secondary season because I did not pre-write enough, to getting where I am now, like getting accepted into a great medical school program in the state that I grew up in, like being close to my family, my childhood friends. It just feels surreal, because there was certainly a point where I was like, this is not gonna happen for me. A few weeks ago, I was already planning my my reapplication, because I was like, okay, well, my MCAT's like good, I guess, but my GPA sucks, so maybe I need to take a few more classes, boost my GPA, because even though I got 7 interview invites, like I got rejected from an in-state school that doesn't even have like that high median MCAT GPA, so I was like, oh, I'm cooked. And then this other medical school that I interviewed with, and I just got immaculate vibes from, it was at that point like the top choice medical school I interviewed with. They rejected me after I thought I killed the interview, so I was like, oh, we're cooked. Like, I'm just cooked. And it was really unfortunate, because I did get accepted to a DO program, and it's a great program, but I just like didn't resonate with the school during the interview. And location was like, I was like, no, I don't think I would be happy here. And so as all the rejections rolled in, I was like, okay. So I was like kind of accepting. Actually, no, I hadn't even accepted that I was going to go to this one school. I was just praying. I was like, anywhere, please. But it was so funny, because like the week after I put in my $750 deposit, I got my acceptance. So no, it wasn't even a week. Was it a week? Maybe. Also, if y'all should know, DO schools do have pretty thick deposits. I did not know this, but my med school student friend, her name is Minty Scott on TikTok, she told me, she goes to DO school, by the way. A lot of DO schools know that most med school applicants, like when given the choice, they would choose like a DO school over an MD school. So, sorry, opposite, MD school over DO school. So that's why they have high deposits, to kind of like secure the person to go into the DO school. MD schools normally have like $100 deposit, so not that bad. The school that I got accepted to isn't even requiring a deposit, and I'm like, thank God, because I'm down some money. Okay, the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer actually isn't that bad, I guess. But it's just, I just feel like it's very, for the price, it's not, the coverage isn't coveraging. You know, like it's not that great of coverage. Okay, we started, and now I must finish, because now I want to make this part of my face not look like a greasy french fry. So let's do a little primer here. If I could give y'all any piece of advice, if you're applying to med school, wanting to be a doctor, whatever, just build a good school list. If I did not apply so broadly, I could have had a completely different cycle, like 0 interview invites, whatever. I applied to so many schools that weren't even on my radar, because people on Premed Reddit were like, oh, why don't you try this school? Why don't you try that school? I was like, I never heard of this school, but I just want to get into a medical school, so period, let's do that. And then I got like the most random, honestly, spread of med school interview invites, like state schools that have a lot of good research. I've gotten private schools that are more like primary care focused. I've gotten like all of this, the craziest range of schools that I couldn't have predicted. So I would just say apply just apply broadly. I really liked MSAR, kind of, and also admit.org especially. The reason why I said kind of for MSAR is because my GPA was like in the trenches. MSAR wasn't that kind to me. It was basically suggesting that like none of the schools I wanted to apply to were worth applying. They're like, girl, your GPA is low, trash that. But it's just like a good way to see just like the average stats of the US MD schools. So I recommend that. Day, or was it yesterday? Yesterday I got an email from my school being like, join the student Discord, and I'm like, it's happening. It's happening. I just can't believe I'm gonna be a doctor because I feel like I'm so unserious. Like, I know that I'm smart, I know I love medicine, but like, I live with myself in my head, and I know that like, I'm just trying to get by. I'm just like a silly, goofy ADHD girly, and my hyperfixation is medicine. But I guess I just passionate enough about it. So what I really like about the school that I am choosing is that I want to focus on concealing. Let's do color correct first. Is that their curriculum is pass fail all 4 years, which is not common at all. A lot of schools now are going towards being like pass fail, at least pre-clerkship. And I have heard from so many medical students that that makes a huge difference. So when thinking about your schools, definitely try to see if what the curriculum is, because I heard the curriculum can make a big difference when it comes to like just like competition and like the vibes in a class. Like schools that have more pass fail stuff, like yes, it's still medical school, so you're gonna be having way too much content to learn in such a short amount of time. But I heard that at least being pass fail makes it so that it doesn't feel as crazy. Especially like, I used to think like, oh, like how does that relate to matching and stuff? But like a bunch of pass fail schools, they have like their match lists are fine, like great match. Like the school that I'm going to, like matching into Ivy League stuff. So it really just depends. Now this looks like I'm trying to be ashy. It just depends on the school's reputation and stuff. Like school reputation does matter. Like I wasn't one of those people that's like, I need to get into Harvard Med. I've never been that. But I just more focused on, okay, like does this place have residencies that are in like cool locations? Like I want to be a big city girl sometime in my 20s. So in the school that I'm committing to, it's like a big-ish city. So that's exciting. City that I haven't lived in. So we love that. But I'm just all about that pass fail all 4 years. And like the vibes of the medical students during my interview, so chill. And because I love accumulating information, I love doing a little research. I like went on YouTube and looked at like the tour of the campus and all this stuff. And like, it just seems like everyone, including the faculty, they just care about balance. Like the whole building is like very open concept, like skylights, like everywhere. There's like 3 gyms on campus, two swimming pools, a ton of like greenery, and like it's very walkable, bikeable, and like the students are they just seem very chill, which I like because I didn't have like the best pre-med experience at my undergrad. Professors were great, honestly. There's only one professor that I was like, but everyone was very competitive and like very like, I want to get into this school. Like I remember some student, I've known him since freshman year. He was like, oh, are you applying to medical school this year? I was like, no. He's like, good, you won't be my competition then. What? I need you to relax. Like I need you to just take a deep breath. The foundation I was using was the CC Nude Glow. I always use SPF in my foundation. This is a great like a medium coverage foundation. I just put like a little bit, just like a little over the place. It's a Dermablend translucent powder just to make sure my face stays set, not like a greasy French fry all day. Ooh, I also want to say, a lot of people have been asking me on TikTok about essay writing. So if you want to meet with me one-on-one about personal statement or activity section stuff, link is in my bio. Oh, no, description. Y'all, I put on too much of the Juvia's Place blush, and now I gotta do damage control. Okay. Whoa. I don't know why the Hannah Montana soundtrack is just like constantly in the background of my head, but that's just how it is. Let's talk about how I messed up this palette, like real bad. So what happened was I put like makeup on it on accident, and so I had to like scrape it off so I actually use a palette. That's a lot of pigment. I don't know if it's because the weather's getting nicer, but I've just been feeling oranges for blush recently. I feel like what helped me get into a lot of interviews to medical schools despite having like stats is I worked really hard on my writing because I knew that was going to make or break my cycle in addition to my school list. I was actually complimented in my writing on a few interviews, and I got a lot of questions on my TikTok about like, are you doing consults? Are you doing revising? I am doing low-cost revising of like personal statements and activity sections. The link will be in my description if you want to do that one-on-one with me, where I'll get to like have an initial consult, asking you what you want to do, revise or whatever, and then I'll just be editing it over like the next 2 weeks or so over Google Docs, and then we'll do a follow-up where you get to like ask me more questions and I literally asked on my pre-meds because I'm anxious. I was like, during like my consult today and like last week with some people, I was like, okay, is this enough money? Is this like a good cost to charge? Like I want to make sure it's still like accessible, and they're like, yeah girl, this is like fine. So I was like, okay, cool. Going in with the Morphe Sun Drops. I started off today saying just light beat, just for me to have a full beat, basically. I'm gonna do my lip combo in the car so my boyfriend and I can get started heading out to Tampa, finishing off with the Morphe Continuous Prep Set and Mist. Let me know what like pre-med med school stuff y'all have questions on, because I really want to post more consistently on here. I really do, especially because TikTok sometimes has me messed up. But yeah, have a nice day. Bye.